this now deleted video is actually making the proxy debate worse on Magic TikTok, not Magic Twitter, where many things are blown out of proportion. Magic TikTok and the growing community that it is actually started memeing on this, and it came across my feed that way. And I was like, no way, this can't be blown up enough to the point where like small form memes are made about it. So I love Magic TikTok as like a little growing community. It's like relatively wholesome, but the memers and like the terrible people are going to come out of nowhere, and we can all be there to like you know, make fun of them when it happens. But ultimately, that is to say, as I go through this video, this is not to mean any harm against this person. I am not condoling any doxing or chasing after this person. I'm simply making this video to challenge their ideas and their beliefs. And y'all know my stance on proxies. I am super open to you playing proxies with me. When it comes to casual play, especially commander play, I am here for accessibility, and I want you to be able to play the game. When it comes to organized play, then there is a financial incentive for the organizers and the LGS to follow Wizards of the Coast rules, and so we all are going to be playing with real cards. And then there's the whole discussion between fake cards versus proxies, which actually there is a difference I'm going to highlight down the line. But ultimately, I'm here to challenge the idea in this video, because I feel like a lot of people have thoughts about proxies that I think they don't understand themselves are actually harmful in many ways. And that's why I'm here to challenge these, because, you know, you are allowed to think what you are, but there are consequences to some of your thoughts. And this is to, you know, y'all know the crowd, the type of people that are like, oh, you can't say anything anymore, or, you know, I can be friends with anyone and still have differing opinions and be cordial. Like, no, you can have a differing opinion about whether or not you like butterscotch ice cream as a sweet treat, or I don't know, a ring pop, right? Like, you can have a decision about that doesn't affect the well-being of the human race. Now, of course, that's blowing this debate out of proportion, but y'all know what I'm talking about when it comes to people and human rights. And I think in a world where accessibility is going to be at an all-time high, with BCW and Ultra Pro video coming out tomorrow talking about how they've actually announced an increase in their prices, it's going to be at an utmost importance to promote acceptability and the gathering in our community of Magic the Gathering, to make sure we don't lose so many people that are on the fence in a luxury hobby. And it can be a little tough. And so without going too far into it, let's just, again, this is a stitch. The original video was deleted, but a follow-up was made, which I want to touch on as well. So we're not going to go too far into the stitch. I will kind of link the two videos I'm going to go over down below, but let's go through it.
You guys suck, and I'm just telling you that.
Oh, what was it?
And nobody owns those cards. You guys suck, and I'm just telling you that.
Oh, Lord.
If you and your play group doesn't have enough money to buy the dual lands or other nice cards, and you know they want to save it for like stuff like daycare and the economic climate we got going on, rent, you guys are a bunch of softies. I don't know.
Yeah, like, okay, so I obviously this might be blowing it out of proportion. That person may not be directly referring to dual lands and stuff, but again, I don't have the full original video. I couldn't find it. Maybe my sleuthing skills are a little weak, but essentially the original video is talking about, and I've seen maybe 2 or 3 other stitches. There's one portion where they talk about like owning a Black Lotus or something like that. But really the original post is talking about how they're cool with proxies, but they're gonna ask if like you play with the card, or like you actually own the cards, and if you don't own the cards, then they don't want to play with you, which again is a problematic elitist take. I understand the idea. Even as a creator, this is a weird thing for me to address, because directly working with Wizards of the Coast, they don't want you to, you know, directly acknowledge like proxies and stuff like that, because then that takes away from their bottom line, which I completely understand. But me as a person has to acknowledge, you know, the acceptability of proxies on my end, just because I am here for the gathering part of Magic the Gathering, not the bottom dollar and the shareholders. But also, why does the person need to own the card in a casual setting, right? Like, what does that mean for you? Break that down, break that thought down. What is the bottom line for you? Why does that person owning the card or not change that for you in a casual setting, right? Again, in an environment where there is something to gain in terms of like money or status through like an LGS tournament or a larger RC or something like that, owning fake cards is a problem because of the rules outlined by Wizards of the Coast. But in a casual setting, kitchen table, LGS, that's still a casual environment. No money is involved. You just come in, you jam some commander. That's a casual environment. What is there to gain or not gain through playing with the proxy or not? People are just going to say personal preference, no. That's what I'm here to challenge. Do not hide behind the thin veil of personal preference, because I think we're past this point where so many people have opinions, and it's okay to have opinions, but people don't understand there are consequences to said opinions. You are allowed freedom of speech, not freedom of consequence in many parts of the world. And so people do not understand that we are allowed to call you out for that. Why do you care about the person owning the card in a casual environment, and really break down the elitist problem with situations like that? So let's break down the next one here. So this is this is a follow-up video. Comments are disabled, by the way, on this one.
So I deleted the other videos and I brought it down to one video. I was told to be nice. I don't want to be nice. I don't like being nice.
No.
I genuinely hate people. That's why I don't actually work in medicine anymore. I hate people.
Oh.
So I'm going to say it at this.
Let me say this. As someone who's worked in healthcare as well, I'm not sure what they mean by medicine, if they were like a nurse or some type of a medical professional or a doctor or whatever it was. But I having worked in medical offices and in a hospital environment, people do suck. I think many of you that work in the public sector, even in retail, as in a restaurant, something like that, people do suck. I am generally of the opinion, though, as much as people suck, as much as you hate them, you got to give people their time of day, and you got to give people the respect, because ultimately we all share this earth together. I'm here to generally spread some positivity. I understand it. People are mean people. Some people deserve whatever. That's a deeper conversation. But I'm not sure if, like, you know, the people that are like, I am who I am because people made me this way. I think those people are like generally losers, because it just goes to show that you have relinquished your ability by choice to be a better person. And so that's my immediate first opinion about this person, that I have this opinion and I'm being completely open and honest about it. That you're like, this is why I don't work here. This is why I'm not a nice person, because other people aren't nice to me. That's a choice. That's a choice. No one made you. You could be a better person. So let me just point that out.
And leave it at this. Number one, I myself have never gone out and purchased a single card more than $100 one time. After that, I've never purchased anything over $30.
Okay.
Plain and simple. Number one. Number two.
Okay.
All the old cards I got are done from literally pay to play. Purchasing booster packs, purchasing starter decks, purchasing booster boxes.
Okay.
That's how you get cards.
Yeah, fair enough. That is how you got cards. You can buy singles, you can buy product. That is many ways that you can get cards. But when you get those cards, right? So for a lot of people, they might be purchasing the cards for a variety of different reasons, whether that be to feed the softcore gambling that many of these systems have built into them. That is, you know, Wizards of the Coast may not be promoting gambling, but the systems involved, especially in Magic Arena with their predatory pricing models, that really mimic kind of a lot of the worst mobile gambling, phone gotcha game type of things going on. And just some of the predatory pricing that exists with some of the premium products. I mean, at the end of the day, if you don't consider licensing and costs like that, if the average cost to hire out a bunch of artists and produce a bunch of cards is the same, why is a premium product priced more? Right? Because that's kind of indirectly acknowledging the secondary market, right? So again, like, there are predatory things going on in terms of the prices of cards, so we do have to acknowledge that as well. And a lot of people might fall victim to that in terms of opening product and opening boosters. They might not be doing it for the cards, but a lot of people might be buying them for a more positive reason. They might have gone to a pre-release. They might have gone to a welcoming event where they learn the game and they play with a starter deck and other people teach them. And so that's fine. That is how you get cards. But you can also purchase singles. You can purchase singles above $100. You could purchase singles under $5. And so I'm not sure why those matter yet.
Magic the Gathering is literally a pay-to-play game.
It is.
That being said, when it comes to the idea of proxies,
not
because
fake
I
cards.
didn't like the way I said it when I was being an asshole.
So Magic the Gathering is a pay-to-play game, I should say, before they go any farther. Magic the Gathering is a play-to-pay game as much as everything else in life is a pay-to-play game. You have to pay to go to work. I hope y'all understand that, right? You have to pay to go get paid. You have to pay for your car, you have to pay for your transit, you have to pay for your clothes. You have to pay to get more money. Everything costs something. Everything costs something. It's not just your hobbies. Okay, so before, nothing in life is free. Everything costs something. So these are the type of arguments I'm not very much a fan of. Some things are free, but everything does cost something. Time is money. You know, the laundry that you did for your clothes to put on to go to the park for free, that costs something, right? So yes, there are free things in the world, and I'm not trying to be pessimistic here. I'm just trying to be real, right? I'm trying to understand the argument that we're putting across here, that Magic is a pay-to-pay game, but there are avenues, thankfully, due to Commander, one of the very big positives of the Commander format, multiplayer formats, casual formats, kitchen table Magic, one of the bigger positives is that you don't necessarily have to pay to play. And even if you don't pay for the cards, you still have to pay for, in my case, I have 6 Commander decks behind me. You can actually see them right here. There's, what is that? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the top row, 5 in the bottom row, 10 Commander decks. 4 to 5 of them are all paid for cards. The rest of them are random cards that I have color print proxies on the front, and I gotta pay for those color printed proxies, right? And so there is a cost to all of this, right? There is a cost to all of this. Or even if I don't have to pay for them, if they're quote unquote free based on a resource that I have access to, a free color printer, there's still a cost to going out and getting them. Again, just highlighting the point, everything you do in life costs something under capitalism. Everything does. So what does that argument mean?
You do you with your peeps. Play the game, you do you, because that's all I give a shit about. Okay. You do you.
Fair enough.
Because in the end, ultimately, the only thing I really care about when it comes to Magic the Gathering is that you're playing.
Okay, now, there you go. That's a good start. We're here promoting the gathering. You do you. Okay.
Table, I'm going to ask you if you have proxies. You say yes. I'm going to ask, do you own the cards? You say nope. I'm going to say peace.
This is where the disconnect is. Why? Why does that matter to you? If I didn't look, why does that matter to you? Why does that matter to you? And of course, this gets into deeper discussions about fake versus real cards in organized events and everything. And that's you have paid. So in an organized event, in a RCQ Worlds, you have paid to participate in an event where everyone is under the same rule structure, under Wizards of the Coast guidelines, to play a tournament to win prizes under, again, a set rule book. Everyone has to purchase the cards. If people do not follow that, they have not followed the rules of engagement and therefore incur a penalty. Does that make sense? Does that make sense to you? That is the difference. When I go to play at an LGS, I have not signed a legally binding agreement. I am just here to vibe, enjoy myself. I've incurred my cost of traveling there and the other costs associated with it, and I have sat down to enjoy myself. You have done the same as well, or theoretically you have. Why does then, if your point is to go there and enjoy the situation at a free situation, right? And again, this isn't talking about CDH tournaments versus casual CDH where you just sit down, you're playing for money, you're just sitting down to play CDH. This is just, you're sitting down to play for free. If the intent is just to play, why are you there being a cop about it? Let's look at the rest of the video.
It's my preference, my personal preference.
No, and see, this is the thing. It is your personal preference, but this is where I challenge it. You have an opinion, but the opinion can be harmful, which is why we challenge it. You're not understanding. You're just hiding behind a thin veil of this is my opinion. You're not willing to address the criticisms of this, which I think a lot of people have brought up.
You guys do you. But with that being said, I want you to all be awesome. Keep playing your games, making your decks, building decks out of proxies, real cards. At this point, apparently, it doesn't matter with a lot of people.
No, okay, so there's a difference. Okay. Proxies are cards that are intentionally made to be replacements, either temporary or long-term, for Magic cards that are intentional replacements and show that. Whether it be through the framing, literally writing proxy on it, it is not trying to hide the fact that it is not a real Magic card. Fake cards, not real cards, are different. Those are made intentionally with in mind that these are pretending to be real Magic cards. That's different. I do not support fake Magic cards. I support proxies. There's a difference to that. I support proxies to promote accessibility in the game. I also promote supporting your LGS, going to buy Magic product, buying real cards. Like, I support that as well. I can support accessibility, and I can support buying Magic cards as well. I do not support fake cards, which are against what we want in the gathering. They are malicious in terms of intent, so that is completely different.
Most of us won't ever cross each other. However, if you hop into my DMs nicely and you think that you're going to be anywhere near the area or in the area at some point, we'll see about hooking up and playing, man. Men or ladies, we'll go to a local game store. We'll meet somewhere close, halfway in between something. We'll play in some way, shape, or form. We're not going to play with proxies.
Why?
We're going to do it the only way that's fair. We'll buy a booster box, draft, bring them in.
What do you mean? Why is that? Why is it fair? What is the advantage you gain? You said that's the only way that's fair. What is the advantage you gain by buying a real, like, what is the difference between a Gaia's Cradle that is fake and a proxy Gaia's Cradle and a real Gaia's Cradle in a casual environment when we both have it out on the field? What is the real life advantage of me having that? Because remember, as the Magic players will always tell you, you always buy high and you're only rich when you sell the card. You're always rich when you buy high and never sell. Right? That's the joke, right? This is a joke, folks. Follow along. And you only make money when you sell. So if you do not intend to sell that Gaia's Cradle, which is the only advantage I could think of, because obviously you can't sell the proxy, what is the in-game advantage? Why are we talking about fairness? Right? Why are we talking about fairness?
Go from there. We'll have fun that way. I'll bring my decks, you can bring your decks, and then we can have a discussion about that there. But again, odds are likely we'll never see each other.
Okay.
We'll never run into each other, and that's okay. I'm A-okay with that. But until that point, go have fun, play the game, build your decks, enjoy it, and, just stay frosty.
As an update to the scenario, one that I didn't have when I was originally scripting out this video, this person actually posted a couple of days ago a quote-unquote apology to the situation. And so there's a lot of responses, I guess, as the video kind of, as the whole thing blows up here. And I'm going to be looking at this live. So I was just watching a couple minutes of this, and they are apologizing for being bad faith and just having a bad attitude in their original videos. And they're talking specifically, I paused it at this point in the video. It's 2 minutes and 44 seconds in, and it's a 9-minute video. So I'm gonna kind of watch it a little bit, because this is the point where they're like, okay, so they spoke back and forth with someone and their opinion on proxies changed asterisk. So I'm gonna go over what this means, because again, you can apologize for going about it the bad way and still have the same opinion. Again, this is a very gatekeep opinion. This is preventing people from paying the game. Again, it feels like there isn't a good reason why. It just feels elitist. It just feels like I paid for my things, you should have to pay too, right? It's that whole argument. And there are famous situations about this. I believe there was like a famous study done about this. I could be quoting this out of my butt, but I'm 90% sure this is a thing. And if it is, I'll link it down below in the comment section, if not in the comment section, in the description, if I can remember to. But there are studies done where, in prisoner's dilemma situations where, a whole classroom is asked if you want to, everyone can have 100 in this class. The person that got a 20, the person that got a 99, everyone can have 100 in this class. But everyone has to unanimously agree to do so. If one person says no, then everyone just gets the mark they have. And so, of course, he says, okay, now I'm going to put it up to a vote without even getting the choice. Everyone's going to vote right now. Everyone gets 100 or everyone gets the mark they deserve. And so in this situation, you would think in the blind, it would actually be good for everyone to just get 100 in a vacuum, to uplift the community, to uplift everyone. Because if everyone was able to, come up together, we could all benefit in a society, right? You would think so. But of course, in many situations, time after time, we come into these situations where someone will say no, and they'll talk about whether or not these people deserve it. I worked harder and all this stuff. And that is right there is the fundamental problem with not only the human race, but also folks under capitalism, right? We've lost the plot. We've lost the plot about caring for each other, right? And this translates now, and in this way, in the proxy debate, and why I'm so passionate about this is that in many ways it translates indirectly through the proxy debate. And when people have these opinions, and of course, if you hold this to yourself, that's fine. I have played with many people. So for many of you that know me from my One Piece TCG side of things, I've been spending a lot of time. I haven't played Commander in like 2-3 weeks at this point, where I've been spending a lot of time promoting 4 Emperors, which is an unofficial variant of Commander, a multiplayer style thing for the One Piece TCG. And so that's been a really exciting venture for me, making a Discord, getting a community involved, and recording games for that. That's been really fun. And so there are people in those Discords that prefer not to play with the cards that they don't own, which is fine. That's a restriction you put on yourself. But I am always telling people, feel free to proxy whatever cards you want, especially in that game where, you know, it is a split release. So the West gets different cards than the East, or like the East is a set ahead. And there are even promos that are like Japanese only that, you know, yeah, there you could translate and you can play on the free online sim, but you won't be able to get in paper in a readily accessible way. And so I tell people, yeah, again, just because it's a Japanese promo, only available in the East meta, proxy it up and play with it. If it's good in your deck, it's a singleton format, it self-balances itself in that way. And so I'm open enough about proxies there, but if you hold that to yourself, that's fine. But now this isn't holding it to yourself. You're now pushing this to other people where you say you won't play with those people. You won't help other people play the game and grow the game and learn the game because of this opinion. So this is where it starts to affect other people. So I'm really interested to see what growth they've actually supposedly done.
So for example, proxy with ownership, awesome. Okay. Proxy without ownership. Everybody seems to be like, we had this discussion.
Also, like, aren't they like driving? This is distracted driving, right? Like, I just want to point that out there. Isn't this distracted driving? You're clearly driving, right? Like, they're definitely driving. And you're just like recording into a video. I'm assuming, I don't know, maybe there's someone else driving. It's a perspective thing. Maybe they actually are on the right side of the car. Hey, UK versus, you know, US, North American folks, but maybe they are on the right side of the car and there's no wheel there. But maybe they're in somewhere where the wheel is there. I just feel like if you're actually driving, isn't this distracted driving? I don't know. We don't see a steering wheel, but
for an example, if you have a commander deck that you own,
I'm just saying because they keep looking at the road. I'm sorry. I'm just super against distracted driving. I don't know about
majority of the cards for.
Yeah, commander deck, and you own the majority for.
You've bought the decks, you've bought the packs, you kind of have everything set up from like your commons and uncommons, maybe a few rares that were cheaper. But the commander you want is a ridiculously priced commander, which in this day and age, in this economy, for some people is even as low as $20 could break that wallet where they may only buy a pack every week or every 2 weeks. That being said,
okay, looks like they're driving.
If I came up against a deck and I asked them, do you have proxies in that deck? And they said, I have 1 or 2. My next question then would be, are they of the big, expensive, crazy cards?
Okay, so they actually done no growth. Oh my God, this is so dumb. Why does that matter? Again, okay, there is a whole separate discussion, which I think is actually a valid one, about someone not being able to afford like a $20 card. Right? But then they're purchasing all these other products, right? Like, I think an idea of personal finance and being able to budget is a whole other discussion. I did bring up the whole gambling part of thing. Yes, there's a whole discussion. Oh, why does this question matter, right? Like, and I had this conversation with my play group as well, right? Like, because I told them, like, last time I played with them, I proxied up a bunch of decks. I was playing with non-proxy decks for a long time with my personal play group, up until I just said, look, I proxied 6X. We're playing them. They're like, isn't that like kind of unfair? You could just build them as powerful as you want, but I'm like, I didn't. That's a personal choice. Yes, you can have an arms race of building the most powerful deck, but that's not what I'm here to do. I built a proxy deck at a level that we usually play at because I wanted to play with a different commander and not have to spend $1 million on this, right? I didn't want to have to and of course they understand that, yeah, you shouldn't have to repurchase cards. Like, I have 1 copy of the One Ring. I don't need to purchase another one for another deck. But also beyond that, like, I don't want to play with I don't want to purchase any more cards than I need to. I just want to try this commander out. Ultimately, if I don't like it, I don't like it, right? We're in a fleeting world. We should be able to just try things out. And ultimately, if I like them, maybe I'll buy the cards down the line. Maybe I don't. I really like my Obeka Splitter of Seconds deck. Doesn't mean I'm going to go buy out the rest of the deck. I just want to play the game, right? So what is preventing us here, right? Like I don't have an arms race. I'm not just playing the most powerful cards. And even if I am playing the most powerful cards, what's wrong with that if we all agree to play with the most powerful cards? Again, like with CDH players, I think the vast majority of them that I've come across are good people and they just want to play the game. They're playing with the rule zero conversation that's successful, that they want to just play with the most powerful cards, the most powerful strategies, and they just want to sit down and jam games, right? It doesn't matter at the end of the day whether or not you own, you know, a Mox, whether or not you own maybe not the Mox, but like dual lands or stuff like that. That doesn't change anything because you could still play the card and use it wrong. You went to spend $1,000 on an underground seed that you can't even play at the right time. What's the point in that? Right? The point of the game is the game itself and the skill expression that you have. It's not the price of the cards. Why does this matter?
From the past, or are they like cards that you just needed and are expensive, like 2 or 3? If they told me that, I would sit down and I'd play them.
Okay, no, see, you haven't actually grown. This is still an elitist gatekeep take. This is still an elitist gatekeep take. You are preventing people from, like, you yourself, your opinion is now affecting other people. I can see it in your face. You're having an internal monologue about how this is a problem. This is the type of problematic stuff that I don't need spreading. Folks, we need to break down some of these elitist takes that we have and the problematic bylines of them. Why does this matter this much?
Because I understand. Again, coming from the age that I come from and where I played, like I said, booster packs were $2.99. That was still expensive back in the day. And I'm guessing probably a ton of you, or all of you, are not sitting here proxying whole decks. Because that was universally pandered on my end with my people and my friend. He said,
why? Why? Again, why is that a problem in a casual environment where no money's on the line and everyone has a universal agreement on what the rules of engagement are? What is the problem with me proxying up a bracket 1 deck completely? Heck, what is the problem with me proxying up a freaking precon list completely? What is the problem? If we all agree to play bracket 2, what is the fundamental problem? I just want you to own your cards. Why? Why? Break it down. Break it down. What is the gatekeep take that's preventing? Just because, and it comes down to some variation of I paid, so should you. What? Why? Why? I just want to play the game. I just want to play the game. Why do I have to be gate kept out of this? Right? Why can't we all promote a little bit of gathering? Not even just Magic, but in other things as well.
Aren't a good excuse. But
sound like you surrounded yourself with pricks.
Did make a point that if you came across a person that couldn't afford to play but wanted to start playing, help them build a deck. Ask them what type of deck idea they want and help them put it together. Or if you have money and they don't, which is the way I've done this my whole life. And my friends have done it with me when I had money and they didn't, and they wanted some packs, we bought it. Vice versa.
Okay, but there's a disconnect here. You're talking about sharing and being helpful, but there's a disconnect. This is like people who are like, they're like, yo, I'm like pro LGB, but forget the T. I can't vibe with the T. There's a disconnect here. There's a real disconnect here. Like, you know, we're not being honest with ourselves here. I don't know what you're saying right now.
So, I had to change my opinion about some things.
Okay, it didn't really shift.
And this also goes with, like, now, if you want to build a proxy deck at your KTM, your kitchen table magic with your friends, in your group, your pod, that is all based on the rules that you guys make, and you guys are.
My man is driving, distracted driving, and looking at his phone notifications. Why are we taking opinions from someone like this?
You guys decide. No one else should tell you how to do that. I'm here being like, I'm sorry.
You're just sorry you got caught, though. That's all this is. This is like one of them city boys that are only sorry they got caught for cheating. You're not actually sorry for cheating. You're sorry you got caught. Like, you're sorry for just being mean about it. Your opinion didn't actually change. What are you apologizing for?
An asshole. I still personally feel that if you're proxying cards, you should own the card. However, it would no longer stop me from sitting down and playing with somebody.
No, it kind of does, though. Because all you did was expand your reach a little bit, but you're still saying, like, if I had a 100% proxy deck, you wouldn't play with me. Right? You said you're cool with playing with me if 2 to 3 of my cards are proxy. This is some old head gatekeeping level type of stuff right here. And I'm saying this as like a almost 30-year-old, 30 this year. Maybe that might age some people out of me. I know my audience is probably around that age. Maybe some of y'all are surprised as to how old I am, or young or old, whatever. This is some gatekeepy type of stuff. My man's talking about packs when they're $2.99. This is an old head type of take. Like,
unless, again, in my decision, they just had a deck that they made an entire deck out of. Okay. That, with all that being said and done, I'm leaving the comments open for positive criticism.
okay. No. See, no. Okay. No. Okay. All right. I think I'm done here. Ultimately, folks, look, you really need to break down why certain takes are like really elitist for you. You need to really break down what you're gatekeeping, why you hold an opinion. This is like that whole J.K. Rowling stuff, who's like a feminist, but then like they like hate trans people. Like, it's like there's a disconnect. I like all people except people with big ears. What does that mean? I'm just bringing that up as like a funny example, but there are real life problematic examples. Why are we gatekeeping people with proxies right now? What does this mean? Why does it come down to, and again, this is an assumption. I should be clear. This is an assumption. Why does it come down to, I paid for it, so should you? Break down this argument. I have yet to hear from Jeffrey a legitimate reason as to why they feel it. They just kept saying, this is my opinion, this is my opinion. You do you, this is my opinion. But the opinion you have affects other people because you won't sit down and play with them. You won't sit down. And it looks like other people in your friend group have as well. You're talking about the people in your circle have this take as well. So you surround yourself with pricks too, in my opinion. Those aren't cool people to me, right? Those are people I'm willing to have a conversation with. But it doesn't seem like you change your opinion at all. Your apology is kind of weak too, because it's not apologizing for anything. Again, I'm not promoting attacking this person at all. I'm challenging what you're saying right now, and nothing of it really makes any sense to me. We should allow proxies for people for the sake of accessibility of the game. We should also still be able to promote purchasing of cards. If you play with the 100% proxy deck against me, I'm cool with that. You can sit down and play with me at my tables. I'm not preventing you. If you are, a good vibe, if you're here for a good time, not a long time type of deal, I'm here to chill with you. And the vast majority of people I've met playing Magic are of that breed. Even if they come off a little rough initially, I think they warm up. Like, people are different. And I myself, I'm grateful for my personal ability and experience allowing me to be a patient person in situations like that. Sometimes I can't be, sometimes I do get salty, but I feel like I tend to be a welcoming person, and I welcome you with you and your proxies. This is an absolutely insane scenario. I don't know why we are doing this at all. It looks like, again, I can't stitch this video, but I might make a TikTok video on this because this is absolutely insane.